Alright, hopefully this is working. Let's try and see. Won't let me. Won't let me try and see. What kind of hot garbage is this? I have to make sure I'm live. And not just live, but there we go. And not just live. Okay. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Alrighty. Have to make sure that I'm live and that the damn thing is recording the voice, because last time I tried this, didn't record my voice. So I just spent 2 for no reason at all. Oh boy. One watching, that's me. I'm the only one watching. I'm watching myself. What did it say about being online or offline? I think it's just, it cut the whatever. So this is the Metal Gear Solid V Let No Bad Happen run. The name comes from Oni Plays. They used to make fun of this thing where, I guess it was some sort of like kids film or something, or one of the characters just yells out the words "let no bad happen," and then they played the audio. So that was that. One of my favorite games of all time. Watch out for these dogs, by the way, because they completely disappear. And the entire Red Band trailer doesn't like it shows a bunch of stuff that doesn't happen. MGSV, Google MGSV Red Band trailer. See how that makes you feel. I think like 3 of these prisoners disappeared too. So the point of this run is to do the impossible, to try to make sure that no bad happens. To do war while minimizing death.
She told us everything. Don't worry, I kept my word. She didn't suffer alone. Here. You earned it.
Don't break it, you big jerk.
How's it feel to play the traitor? No more war games. You're a real man now, son.
Is that duct tape on his forehead?
Give my regards to your boss when you get home.
Alright, I'm going to mute that on my TV, and God only knows if it's muted on your end. Oh, it's not. Fantastic. So, all of this audio is going to be muted anyways, so might as well not say anything at all.
"10 days ago, we got reports that Cass was still alive.
She's alive.
She was rescued by a Belizean fisherman who found her drifting in the Caribbean.
So what's the plan? Silence her before we're compromised?
No. I've got something else in mind. Our friends at Cypher suspect Haas could be a double agent. She's being held for interrogation at a camp on the southern tip of Cuba.
Blackside. Nice. A slice of American pie on communist soil, and out of U.S. legal jurisdiction.
The upcoming inspection of Mother Base has to be connected somehow. The timing's too perfect.
The UN's nuclear inspection.
My guess is they're trying to corroborate Haas's leak.
We're an army without a nation.
Word of our capabilities gets out, and we'll have the whole world out to shut us down. Having an American private intelligence agency involved's bad news. Cypher's the ones who sent Haas to us in the first place.
She knows their true nature.
Right. Haas is our only link to Cypher. If she's still alive, we need her on our side.
I know I'm live now, but whenever this thing goes up, YouTube is going to mute all of that. YouTube's going to mute all the music. It'll probably be an automatic ID scanner or whatever, or content ID. Because I can see the chat right now. And it's empty. There's one person viewing and it happens to be me.
So who's the other target?
That would be Chico. He's being held in the same area as Haas. Last radio contact was 40 hours ago. Find them both. Bring them back alive. Enter the compound from the south cliff. Secure Chico and Haas, then report back from the rendezvous point.
Why is he wearing his old unit badge? Just for the memories, I guess?
Chopper from across the Cuban border. You should be back at Mother Base in time for lunch.
Or is he back?
Just miss our guests. The only catch is you go in solo. The politically sensitive nature of the mission means backup is not an option.
Fine. I like some alone time now and then.
The storyline is real weird about when Big Boss gets back into the U.S. Army. Because at some point in time he does. I know it's before Operation Intrude, or whatever. It's before Metal Gear 1 on the MSX.
I'm in front of the prison camp.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
Kept you waiting, huh?
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area. What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
Tell me what to do, Miller. Kazuhira, McDonald, Benedict, Beauregard. 3 or 4 more names, Miller. Gilbert something or the other? What's his name, Gilbert? I can't remember.
Keep low. You can check the controls on the top screen. To climb an obstacle, press the action button.
Quiet. Those new guys. See that chocolate? Who are they with? Sit down! Hey, that's
Damn it. I am super rusty. I'm super rusty, and that makes everything that much harder. I used to think that this was a super important run, but it's really not. So why am I still doing it? I don't know. I don't know, really.
Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
Speak.
Yep. Alrighty. Oh, boy.
Now head east to the old prison area. You can bring up the target's location on your iDrive.
Lie down. Get down. Spit it out.
If you ready your weapon for crawl, you can move horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster.
There's a guy over here. Prisoner. I don't want to lose him. Could be wrong, though. Huh. Enemy left the area.
Contact me if you need advice.
That's fine. He'll eventually fall asleep. Where's the guy?
CQC is effective for different.
Huh.
You should move the bodies of enemies somewhere out of sight.
Spit it out.
Map has been updated.
Get down.
So the idea behind this run, the let no bad happen run, it's very specific, very strange. To try to do war without doing casualties. It's impossible.
Speak.
Map has been updated.
You could simply say that it's the non-lethal run of Metal Gear Solid 5. But it's more than that. Plenty of people have done non-lethal runs, tried to do no kills whatsoever. I want to do further. I want to try to ensure the safety of every man, woman, and child in the war zones in which I frequent in this game. Where the hell is the prisoner? I thought he was in one of these buildings. Like I said, I'm super rusty. I have like 1 trillion hours. There he is.
You gonna help them?
I have like 1 trillion hours in
Carry him to the RV and
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. But not nearly as much.
Just to save my ass. Am I right? Maybe this'll help. Do whatever
In
you're
Ground
doing.
Zeroes.
Hey, if you want inside the admin building, use the drainage channel.
Map has been updated. Please select a landing zone. Landing zone confirmed.
Roger that shelter request. It's headed your way now.
So the entire idea behind this run is to try to ensure as few people die as possible. One thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to recruit as few people as possible. I've tried this before. I've tried to do a no deaths run for me and all of my men. I've tried to do a no deaths run before.
This is Moore. Arriving shortly at LZ.
And I failed. I like to take out everything that glows on night vision, because it reduces the number of objects that are glowing and therefore like interactable in any way, shape, or form.
This is Moore. On station at LZ.
Do you know you can snag the guards in this game too? Every prisoner you snag, I think it's this button. There we go.
Target is in.
Every prisoner that you snag is going to show up in the Phantom Pain. But every guard that you snag doesn't, so it's kind of no real reason to grab any of these guards. But since they're not dead, that makes me happy. So I don't want to...
Take a good look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark it.
I don't want to kill U.S. Marines.
Even if there's a wall between you and them. But it only works if you stop and take the time to focus your attention. This helps you maintain situational awareness. Try it. That range just won't let up. It'll help you stay out of sight, but watch you don't get hypothermia.
Spit it out.
Map has been updated.
These are all United States Marines. On a United States military base, or rather a United States Marine base. Really? That sucks. I'll have to hide somewhere then. Let no bad happen run. It's all about do not let bad happen. Let's go ahead out here for a bit. The idea behind this run is to, like I said, try to do the bare minimum whenever it comes to deaths in any way, shape, or form. So that's not just no kills. That's also trying to recruit as few people as humanly possible, so therefore they can't die for any reason. So they can't get sick at my base and die. They can't lose their life out on a mission. That also means that should have been snagging these guys and put them on a helicopter. Then there'd be less Marines, even if you don't get any bonuses for doing that. I might have to pause the stream in 40 minutes. All depends on how I feel. I guess I can make more tuna rice later.
CP, this is Delta 6. Search complete. No sign of hostiles. Over.
Okay. I see another one. So this is a U.S. Marine base. It's a parody of Guantanamo Bay. I've never been to Guantanamo Bay myself, so I can't tell you how accurate of a parody it is. Unlike most parodies, it's not designed to be funny. That should be it for you. Oh, there you go.
Spit it out.
They can only lie down face down.
That's the old prison area. The targets are there. Watch yourself. If you let go, it's a long way down. Just move carefully when you come back.
Spit it out.
Has been updated.
I see you seeing me. I wanna watch you up into my life. Alright. Little Katamari Damacy for you.
Flare grenade and hold the chopper to your current position. Just don't forget you might put it in danger of being shot down.
Oh, well. Fantastic. Hopefully I can sneak up behind this guy, and I'm not quite sure how, because I don't think that there's a hole in the fence. I think that you can get into the fence from outside, but I don't think that you can get outside of the fence from the inside. Not much here. Damn it. There we go. You know what?
Leave no stone unturned. The target has to be somewhere.
Spit it out.
That's not what I wanted to do. And that's not what I wanted to do. Fantastic. 0 for 2 here. Okay, so I can't put bodies in dumpsters. And I also can't put bodies in porta potties. I was thinking, my goodness, that would be so brilliant. I could just put these bodies in these porta potties, and everything will be hunky-dory. But everything was not hunky-dory. Because then I think that they don't even wake up if there's an alert. Now I think the same thing happens if you put bodies into vehicles. I think if you put bodies in vehicles,
Spit it out.
then they don't wake up, like no matter what.
Is updated.
There's someone in there. What do you plan on doing?
Asking him to put me on his top 8 on MySpace.
Pull him out too if you want, but just don't forget the targets.
It hurts. It hurts all over.
You're probably just being dramatic.
Thank
So, the idea behind this run came about whenever I was in Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. So, in case that you don't know, there's enlisted people in the Army, or in the military in general. Like these fine young Marines in this fictional Marine base, which is a parody of Guantanamo Bay. So it's most likely that these Marines in this game, these fictional Marines, are actually all in more than likely an enlisted recruiting center. Those are the people that get out of high school one way or the other. So if you see any recruiting center, it's more than likely an enlisted recruiting center. That's for people with a high school diploma or people like me. I have a general education diploma.
POW. That's fine if you have some intel, I guess.
GED. Man, they did get rid of a couple prisoners, didn't they? In between the cutscene and now, 3 prisoners disappeared. Oh, cool. More enemies leaving the area. That's always good news.
Another prisoner. Looks like he's in line. Roger, dispatching chopper.
So if you got some sort of high school diploma, sometimes if you have a GED, if you're lucky, and I was lucky, you can go to most recruiting centers and they'll be enlisted recruiting centers. And they'll either be an enlisted recruiting center for active duty or one for the reserves. I think even in active duty recruiting centers, you can still, go for the reserves, but they do have like dedicated recruiting centers for the reserves. But all of that is for people with a high school diploma or equivalent. That's what enlisted recruiting centers are for. Now, in the military, we have officers. Those are the important people that we have to listen to and take orders from, and we have to salute them and stuff like that. Those are officers. And officers are required to have a bachelor's degree from a 4-year college or university or whatever. So there's a difference. Officers, enlisted. right? Now, you might have run into ROTC before. So we'll go from the bottom to the top here.
Boss, that prisoner we rescued provided some intel. He says he knows the location of a unit patch. I don't know what he's talking about, but I've marked the location on your map anyway.
The map has been updated.
So we'll go from the bottom to the top, much as we can. Here we go. It just shows up real nice and easy like. Once they pop in, at least. This game doesn't pop in as well as the Steam copy. Steam copy with a good computer, that's
You're way too exposed there. Find some cover and stick to it.
that's what's going to give you the best field of view or whatever. The best draw distance. That's what I'm thinking of. Good thing the Marines don't have peripheral vision. Oh, fantastic. Just got everybody coming to the party, huh?
The map has been updated. The map has been updated.
What a pain in the ass. Oh, there's more. He spotted one of his friends. He's fine.
What's going on?
Wow. He didn't spot him before because the draw distance wasn't high enough.
Spit it out.
He just loaded in. Damn it.
Spit it out.
I keep thinking that this is the Phantom Pain, and it's not. Nobody's in there, is there? Oh, there is.
Pull yourself together. Get down there.
So to go from the bottom to the top here, you've probably run into the Boy Scouts, right? Those are children that are being taught multiple skills, but the original purpose was for military stuff. So you might have heard of the Hitlerjugend, which was, during World War II, the Axis powers, in particular, the Nazis, Wehrmacht, stuff like that. They trained children to be better soldiers whenever they become early, or whenever they get older. And the Boy Scouts, at least as much as I know,
Droid to check all sorts of operational data. The map, objectives, the target's locations. It'll help a lot if you let it.
as far as I know, the Boy Scouts were started as the United States version of the Hitler-Jugend. I could be incorrect about that because there's just plainly a lot of clubhouses and activities and whatnot specifically for kids. Yeah, that is suspicious. What was that, Marine? So as far as I know, that's how the whole thing was started. Now there is young soldiers, young Marines. There are branch-specific things, but the United States military definitely while not really considering Boy Scouts to be military training, they will give you an extra rank or two if you reach Eagle Scout. Now, Eagle Scout back in the day was something that you had to be 18 to be in. As far as I know, I was in Boy Scouts for a whole 24 hours, so I don't have all the lore here. But it used to be that, well, at the very least, if you get to Eagle Scouts, which is the highest that you can go in the Boy Scouts, then most branches will give you E3. So in the enlisted thing, for people with a high school diploma or the equivalent, for being enlisted in the military, the ranks go from E1 to E9 with an honorary rank which kind of serves as an E10, but it's not something that you really need to worry about at all. It's for people who do really, really well. In the Navy, it was the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. I can't remember what it is for the other branches, but I don't even think it comes with a boost in your paycheck. Okay, whatever. I don't need to hold up every human being in this entire base. They'll stay like that until an alert happens. So they'll just they'll lay face down forever.
The surveillance camera. You might be able to crawl in there.
Thanks, Miller. So if you accomplish as many things as you could possibly accomplish, with very few exceptions, inside the Boy Scouts, instead of starting at E1, you'll start at E2 or E3, depending on the branch. And the Marines will give you E2. And the most of the other branches will give you E3. All for the same accomplishment. All for Eagle Scouts. That's it. Now, they'll give you the same thing for an associate's degree. So you can either go tens of thousands of dollars in debt, or you can spend an exceptional amount of time in the Boy Scouts. Wow. He was curious about me for a very short amount of time. Oh, cool. I was going to throw a magazine to distract him, but no need.
Your map has been updated.
So that's Boy Scouts. That's like the lowest level of military training, kind of, you know. Like I said, young Marines, young soldiers, these are all real organizations that if you have a child, they can join. Sea Cadets, stuff like this. And sometimes it costs money and sometimes it doesn't. And whether or not it costs money, it's kind of dependent on a number of different factors. But it's often very simply like whether or not the organization has enough money. So like at the end of the day, it's nothing malicious. They're not charging you money because they don't like you. It's because they don't have any money. So they need you to cover that expense. Young Marines, young soldiers. I'm pretty sure I missed it. All right. Good stuff. There are some people that will seriously ask a question like, is this realistic? Oh my goodness. There's 99 friggin' people in here.
You okay? Get the hell out. Lie down. Get down. Speak. Speak.
One of the guys is too close to one of the other guys. Or I've held up too many people and they're out of information to give me. One or the other. Who's awake up there? That's not where I came from, is it? I don't know. I don't know. I'm too close to one of the other guys. Oh.
Spit it out.
There we go. Wakey wakey.
Don't make contact with the target.
I would like to go ahead and shut off all the cameras if I can. That should make everything a tad easier. So the lowest level of military training is the kind that your children can participate in. And you might even have to pay for them to participate in such training. Civil Air Patrol. That's another one. Did you know that if you rise high enough in the ranks of Civil Air Patrol, then you can guarantee a spot in the United States Air Force Academy? Isn't that wild? It's like imagine if your kid was in cheerleading and they got really, really good at cheerleading, and because they got really, really good at cheerleading, they not only went to a free college, but got paid to go to college. People don't know that. The military academies aren't just free college. You get paid to go there. You get a stipend. It's a job. Everybody else is paying to go to college, like a bunch of suckers. And the people in military academies are being paid to go to college. You know what? Someone's got to check on it once I turn off the power. So if it's the guy that's closest to the power box, then so be it. Yep. It's a big man here. Alright. So the lowest level military training is the type that your kids can go to. And you might even have to pay for that. Slightly higher is ROTC. So you might have run into ROTC whenever you were in high school. ROTC, as people normally run into them, is actually JROTC. It's the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. The purpose of Reserve Officer Training Corps is to train officers in the United States Military Reserves. So the people that do 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, that's what we're talking about here. Now, people who do GROTC in high school, they can get advanced ranks. Now, ranks are a little bit complicated. So don't let me lose you here. But like I said, the ranks start at E1 and they end at E9. So, if you were like in a store, just imagine being like,
Okay, now's your chance to contact the target.
imagine being like, you know, a stock worker or the cart person in Walmart and being promoted the assistant night manager, and then finally the night manager, all because you were an Eagle Scout at some point in time, and that's how you begin your career in the military. It's kind of strange, but it all works. The more responsible people get more power. That's the way that it's supposed to be, anyway.
I've marked the RV on your map. You need to carry post there.
Gallo Pinto. Uh-oh. Someone's found somebody else that has been, until now, lying face down somewhere, I believe. Thought that's what I heard. So just imagine, like, because you're an Eagle Scout, you get a job at Walmart as a night manager, like a manager for night shift. And that's your pay and responsibility because you were responsible enough to become an Eagle Scout as a child. That's precisely what we're talking about here. That's literally what happens in the military. Now, the Army has like the best and easiest to understand whole thing here. Oh, wow.
What's up?
That won't work, boss. Hide the target in a place they're unlikely to be found.
You alright?
Hide these Marines in an Air Force base. They wouldn't be caught dead there. Come on, big boy. I want to put this guy out of my hair by putting him in here, because like I said, he's never going to wake up. So this guy is awake. This is not the guy that I shot earlier. It's not the guy that I put to sleep. So somewhere hiding around here is the guy that I put to sleep, and I don't know where he went. Whatever. I'm just going to start stuffing people in this vehicle over here. So the draw distance is not drawing the Marine that's asleep right now, so therefore he can wake up. All because the processor can't handle that he exists. What an unbelievable pain. It's also a huge pain because and that guy's down. And that guy's down. Here he is. Don't scare me like that, big boy. Now they've dematerialized at least one of the Marines in the car. See how that works?
Spit it out.
They make a noise every time that they materialize. Okay, so it goes slightly to the left, slightly to the right. I thought it turned its camera all the way to the left to look at this approach, but I guess it doesn't. So in the Army, things make a lot of sense. Like, first you'll just be a Joe, they call it. And then you'll be a team leader. So there's like 2 or 3 of you, and you'll be in charge of a team. And that's E2. Whatever. They'll fall asleep eventually. They've been hit with a tranquilizer dart. Ugh. I can't get up there and not with pause.
Find a place to hide the target, somewhere well out of sight.
Whatever. There's a guy in the guard tower over there, and he hasn't noticed that everybody around him is asleep.
Hurry up and carry the target toward the objective.
Sam?
Spit it out.
These here are my favorite Pokemon cards. Holographic Charizards. Always holographic Charizards. You're lying. Everyone says that they love holographic Charizards. Fine, I lied. It's not holographic Charizards that I like. It's Misty's Magikarp. Not the regular one, but Misty's Magikarp. Because I know that it was owned by Misty. And she's my favorite character on Pokemon. That would be a much better interrogation.
Go ahead and call the jump trapper.
Please select landing zone confirmed.
Roger that chopper request.
Oh, he's finally noticed one of his pals is lying down on the ground. No, you haven't. You haven't spotted anybody. He's saying the wrong thing. Lol. He's got it. He's getting down from the tower. Check it out himself. It was one of two things. He was either going to stay up in the tower and just keep looking, or he was going to go try to check it out himself. Alright, I gotta get Chico. Okay. Wow, he's already back up there, you know? Screw it. Forget it. Saw a suspicious person. Sounds like NMB. It's none of my business. Wow, incredible. Okie dokie. Like I said, I think that there's a couple spots where you can go from outside of the fence to inside. I just don't think that there's anything for inside out. I thought that there was more than one entrance. Is there not? Am I misremembering? Also, is this general area one of the unit patches? Because I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. Is there another entrance? You tell me, 0 people in the chat.
Okay, now's your chance to contact the target.
0 people in the chat.
Okay, now's your chance to contact.
Your old pal Sankey.
Chico, it's me.
I've got a different voice actor now. But only in the English version.
Chico, keep it down.
Shut the hell up, we got rid of David Hayter.
Chico, calm down.
You ever just choked a kid? It's like, I know that we all have thought about choking a kid. But have you? Next time your kid is crying, I can't say that joke.
We have to get Chico out. Keep an eye out for nearby enemies. They can try to shoot down the chopper.
It's our home stretch. We'll get to see whether or not they kick off the broadcast whenever the ending happens, because you're not allowed to record it. It always kicks off the recording if you're recording the ending. Does he say anything if you've already rescued, boss? Whenever you drop them off here? No.
Okay, now use your iDroid to call the chopper for pickup.
Looking out a dirty old window. It's this one, yep. That's the one. There we go. Makes no difference because I'm not collecting all of those, but whatever.
Another unit patch. Could there be more of them?
Yeah, there could definitely be more of them. Duh.
This is Morthor. Arriving
I might as well collect them all while I'm here. So that the point of this challenge is not just no kills, obviously, it's also trying to reduce all of the danger and stuff from everything. But it's also to try to do as much as humanly possible while
Alright, get in. Time to go.
tell me what to do, Miller. So it's also to do as much as humanly possible while under these restrictions. So why all of these all at once? Well, it's sort of something to prove what is possible whenever it comes to all this. I think there's one in the middle of the airfield. See, it's 9:30 at night right now while I'm recording this. And I know that Dollar General closes at 10. So if I want food before I go to bed tonight, I'm either going to have to make it or I'm going to have to go and buy it in the next like 20 minutes. And I don't think that that's going to happen in the next 20 minutes. So I'm doing the best as I can here. I'm probably just going to have to make more tuna rice. I had a little bit of tuna rice from yesterday that was left over from yesterday earlier. Okay. In time, he should fall asleep. And then moves the guy out of this tower. Like, I know he woke up whenever I went on alert earlier, but... And moved the dude? That's weird. It's a weird choice. XOF patch 1. It's over here somewhere. Atop the pile of garbage on the south side of the West refugee camp. Yeah, that's what I figured. The south side of the West refugee camp? Atop the garbage pile? I think I've already interrogated that guy. So this is essentially the south side. So where's the garbage pile? Is it over here? No. It's over here. You. The south side. Yeah, so we're on the south side. The garbage pile. Is that a garbage pile? Atop the pile of garbage on the south side of the West refugee camp. Reading the IGN guide entry over and over again. So they have an explosive barrel in the picture. There it is. There's the pile. And there's the patch. Okay. What the hell was that? It like popped up twice. Did you see that? Go back. Slow down the footage. This is hyper important. Down. I know there's one in the like electrical thingamajigs behind the West refugee camp. Okay, that's the next one. On the left, power transformer. That's what it says. Okay. Dude, they give you so much ammo. That's crazy. I'm used to like really conserving my ammo because in the Phantom Pain, sometimes I just don't want to call for an ammo resupply. Because I don't want to sit there. I don't want to sit in one spot for any reason. I want to keep moving. And so I'll conserve my ammo specifically because I don't want to call for a resupply. Is somebody in that armored vehicle over there? It was like the headlights were on, right? Did you see that? On the left, power transformer. Wow, incredible. Alright, Snake, you can do this. On top of the guardhouse across from the prison camp? I think they're talking about the one that we got earlier by Chico. Just inside the gate of the prison camp. Okay. So we are missing that one. Let me get stuff that's over here first. In the center of the helipad. Pretty sure there was one in the middle of the helipad. Isn't there also one that's on a weird area inside, like to the right, you know what I mean? From where I'm looking? Like straight ahead. where the camera is looking. Isn't there one that's like right there in the middle of there somewhere? There's one smack dab in the middle of the helipad somewhere. Where are we at? Is it this helipad? Did we collect it earlier? South of the orange flag. Well, it's not smack dab in the middle of the helipad then, is it? There we go. So that's 7, and I think that the 8th one is through that door and a weird little thingamajig. So the first one we collected was in the drainage channel, on top of the air vent, and the east wing of the administration building. Okay. So is this it? Yeah, that's it. And the other one's going to be just inside the prison camp. Alright. Cross your fingers and toes that nobody's awake in between here and hither and thither. So just inside the door of the prison camp. There it is.
After going over all the data we've compiled, that looks like the last Mgsv unit patch. Boss, get back to the mission.
Don't boss me around.
Please select a landing zone. Landing zone confirmed.
Roger, dispatching chopper.
I'm checking up on the cassette tapes and see if I missed any. Hopefully before I get on the chopper. It's going to be easier to do it now than to do it at any other point in time. Chico's 1, Intel operative, ground 0 in the central watchtower. Yeah, we picked that up. Given to Snake by Chico after he rescues him from a shell and brings him to the cave. Rescue the POW. On one of the dumpsters in the alley next to the stairs, going down to the boiler room where Paz is being held. This must be done before you rescue either of them. So, that one's not one of the ones that I've got. Blah, blah, blah. Located in the cell adjacent to Chico's. There's another one I missed. Let's see whether or not it involuntarily cuts off this broadcast. Because like I said, if you're recording, it cuts it off. It doesn't want you to see the following cutscenes. Yeah, if I wouldn't have activated reflex, I probably would have got an S rank. Time's holding me back. Of course. Okay. It's broadcasting only mic audio because I entered a blocked scene. So you can hear me, but you cannot see what's currently happening, I guess. It's gruesome stuff, I'll tell you that much. So it's literally only broadcasting what's on the mic. It's not even broadcasting like the audio from the game right now. It's not even broadcasting like the audio from that game right now. It's not even. That's weird. Okay. So anyway, to finish things while this is going on, I'll tell you what's happening. They're taking. You can look up this scene on YouTube. They're taking a bomb out of a 20-something-year-old girl that is disguised as a 14-year-old. She's got a bomb in her gut. But she also has a bomb somewhere else that everybody in the helicopter doesn't know about right now. The bomb that was in her is fucking humongous. It's like the size of a Big Mac, dude. It's so massive. Like one of the ones from the commercial, not the ones that like you get from the drive-thru.
What's up, Huey? Our guests are right on time. Document destruction and hangar decontamination are complete. AFVs have been stolen.
You know what?
Zeke's on the seafloor along with a nuke. Everyone's got their story straight. The guided tour will be wrapped up by the time you get home. Make me proud. By the time they leave, I'll have the IAEA praising us as the poster boys for world peace. Out.
You know, the whole reason why I started recording today was because I'm building a styrofoam shredding machine to have free insulation in the cabin that I'm building. And it was like a little wobbly. And I got so frustrated just trying to make it not wobbly that I decided I needed a break. And so I started recording. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, now I see the solution. I can just shave off the wobbly bits. I was trying to add to it to make it not wobbly, but I can reduce material from it. That's what you're here for, my dear sweet viewer. That is what you're here for. You are here to give me great ideas. By the way, on the screen right now, XOF is taking apart Mother Base. Have you ever played the game Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker? Because if you have, everything that you did in the game is being destroyed right now as we speak. By the way, Big Boss does a nice C in order to brace himself while he fires his assault rifle out of the side of a helicopter. Now, I personally have never even been inside a helicopter for any reason, but that's how you brace yourself to fire your service rifle if you're going to like fire from around a vehicle or something. So these are essentially CIA operatives, I guess, or any other branch of the military. It really doesn't matter. It's a secretive branch of the military that is attacking a mercenary group. So it's like if Blackwater made an entire like military base out in the ocean, and like Delta Force came and blew it up. So if Blackwater made Sealand, and then Sealand was a military base, and then it got attacked by like the CIA, that's basically what happened, and we lost because of a sneak attack. Like in this example, the mercenaries lost. That's the protagonist of this game.
Explosions. They played us like a damn fiddle! Give it back! This isn't right, that was ours! We built it, damn it!
That had to be like Robert Atkins Jones' like first take.
Bitch! Come on, start talking, bitch! Like, get up and start talking!
My favorite Pokemon is the holographic Charizard. That's what everybody says. You're a liar. Tell us what your real favorite Pokemon card is.
It's all right, we got it out.
It's on her fingers. It's another bomb in her toes. There's another bomb in one of her butt cheeks. There's another bomb in her password-protected journal. Smoke from the disaster was visible from the coastline. The media blamed money-minded private militias, and a scandal followed when the U.S. was fingered as one of the organization's top clients. In response, the Secretary of Defense publicly stated that neither the United States nor its allies had any hand in the attack. Reports also suggested that the IAEA inspectors visited the site. However, the UN and the IAEA insist that no such inspection took place. Other countries among the organization's top clients were questioned as well. Casualty figure is uncertain. There's no known survivors. However, in the moments prior to and following the incident, several unidentified military helicopters were spotted off of the coast of Cuba.
Your favorite song?
Now they're going to cut this audio again.
But immigrants wrongly executed. But their deaths served as a message to others. That ours is a society that murders the innocent. Do you too believe your sacrifice will change the world?
I guess I could just mute it. Since you can't hear the game audio, I'll just mute my TV. Now you can't overhear the TV's audio. So anyway, whenever it comes to joining the military, if you're a child, you can do one of these organizations. Civil Air Patrol or whatever, Boy Scouts, Young Marines, Young Soldiers, whatever. That's one of your options, and you can get a couple of extra, you're going to get a couple of skills and stuff like that. You're going to get a couple of extra stuffs, things. You're going to get some good stuff out of it. You're going to learn some skills and stuff like that. So no matter what, it's going to help you. And then if you reach Eagle Scout or the equivalent in other organizations, if you reach that level, then you can become E3. So it's essentially like walking in your first day at Walmart, and instead of being the cart wrangler, now you're like the night shift. So you got a little bit of an extra boost in pay from everybody else, and a little bit of extra boost in responsibility as well. But that's because you have experience in being a responsible person. That's the way it's supposed to work out. You can also graduate high school with an associate's degree. That is something that is available for teenagers that most people don't know about. But you can actually... A lot of people will get out of high school and they believe that college is harder than high school, but it's not necessarily harder than high school. And I would say in a lot of ways it's just not at all, no matter which way that you slice it. Just like in many, many ways, I just don't think that it is. But literally, there's a lot of classes in college that are literally high school classes, and there are teachers that will come from the high school to the college, and they will teach the exact same class that they teach high school students. This is not just like AP classes. Those are like full-blown college classes. So you can actually graduate high school with a associate's degree, believe it or not. And that is one of your options if you live in an area that has that benefit. If you don't, then, whatever. But that is one of your options. And I wish I would have known about it. I had no idea. I don't even know if it existed whenever I was in high school, but whatever. And that will also get you E3 if you join the military. But all of that is still enlisted. Whenever it comes to officers, you have to have a bachelor's degree or an undergraduate diploma in order to be an officer in the United States military. Benefits? Well, they get paid about twice as much as enlisted people, all the way across the board. So they retire with more money, they get more money from the start, and they have the same 24 hours in the day. You can make lots of excuses, but the fact of the matter is that they're just, doing a lot of what you're doing with a little bit, a little bit different, and they're just kind of like over there. Really, it's just a way to delineate the haves from the have-nots here. Do you have an undergraduate degree or do you not? It's really as simple as that. So if you go to college for 4 years, or 2 years after you get your associate's degree, and you graduate with an undergraduate diploma, then you're an officer in the United States military. But while you're on your way there, there's lots of things that you can do to have benefits from the military in the form of cash and stuff like that. So if you go to one of the military academies, it's a free school. It's a free university that will give you a free associate's degree and a free bachelor's degree. All of the academies, they do the exact same thing in that regard here in America. where I was born and raised. But they also pay you a stipend for being there. So they pay you up to $500 a month. As little as, like, I think you start freshman year at $350 a month, and then $400 and $450 and then $500. And you say, well, that's not that much money. And you're right, that isn't that much money. But they're also giving you room and board the whole time. So they're feeding you, they're watering you. You have a place that you live and everything. So all of that is part of being in a military academy, and then they pay you a stipend on top of that. That's excellent. You can't really find that kind of a deal most anywhere on this planet. So as soon as you join an academy, you are starting your 4 years towards getting a bachelor's degree. And as soon as you graduate with that bachelor's degree, that's whenever you will let's see, the credits are gone, so they're going to do their phone call or whatever.
Cypher's been in hiding ever since his grand experiment. No one's seen him in years. All we hear are orders delivered by proxy. Except you. You met with him, face to face, in order to contact Big Boss. Tell me where he is. Where is Cypher? Where is Zero? I've never known choice. Where I was born, the language I speak, I've never had the freedom to choose for myself. But you, right now, are free. Do as you will.
This will save Big Boss.
It may.
Will you really kill Zero for me?
Not for you.
Alright. Zero is...
And now they're pooping out the timeline. They redo the time. You can read the timeline on your own. I'm not going to read it to you. Either look it up and watch it on YouTube or whatever. And it changes every like 29 seconds. It's weird. Every time a game comes out, they change the timeline again and again and again. Anyways. 2008, the President of the United States promises to shut down Guantanamo Bay. And now they're going to do the teaser for The Phantom Pain, which is basically the other half of Metal Gear Solid V. And it is V. It's not 5, it's V. Hideo Kojima himself on Twitter was very insistent on that part. Big Boss is in a coma. They're doing lots of flashbacks to the carnage that we just witnessed. Including Mosquito being shot in the head. We'll run into Mosquito a little bit later. Deceived and left for dead. Showing us waking up in a hospital bed. Now suddenly it's telling me that there's 2 watching. Deprived of all but something.
I'm afraid it's been just a suffer.
Retribution. Okay, finally. A bunch of garbage. None of which are going to help me out in any way, shape, or form with the specific goal of going through and being as non-lethal as humanly possible to an obsessive degree. Loading screen, incredible, huh? There we go. So anyway, the whole reason why I wanted to give this a shot and do this is because of my time in Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps with the United States Army. I was active duty from 2007 to 2011 in the Navy. Then I joined up with the Navy Active Drilling Reserves. Then in 2014, as I began running out of post 9/11 GI Bill that I'd earned from my time active duty, I decided that I wanted money on top of free school, and that's what Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps was offering. So I went and joined up with them. So I switched branches entirely. Apparently there's a Senior Navy Reserve Officer Training Corps, but it's in like Waterloo, Illinois. So it was nowhere near me, so I just decided to shack up with the Army instead. And while I was there, in 2014, this game came out, and then in 2015 the next game came out, and I've been playing these games since I was a little itty bitty baby boy. And Metal Gear Solid 3 was so inspirational that it was the thing that got me in the military in the first place. That's just the risk that you take. You can make an anti-war like film or a piece of media, but if you show the action and adventure and stuff, then people are going to join. A bunch of people still quote Full Metal Jacket in the military, even though it's an anti-war film. If you want an effective anti-war film, I suggest whatchamacallit, Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal. I hated it whenever I was a civilian, but then I watched it again as in the military. I liked it a little bit more, and I watched it again after the military, and I was like, wow, that is very accurate, which should be expected because Swafford was a real Marine, and the movie Jarhead is a real Marine's real experience. It's a real journey and whatever. There are others that are equally as good, but like I said, if you're going to be an officer in the United States Army, you can join one of the academies, and they will pay you to gain your bachelor's degree. Then you'll be an officer the moment that you get your bachelor's degree. There's also junior military colleges, which I think is exclusive to the U.S. Army, and they will commission you as an officer the moment you receive your associate's degree, which is kind of weird. But you have to finish your bachelor's degree before you start your first day on the job. But by the time that you start your first day on the job, you already had like time and service and all this other kind of stuff. Plus you've been paid like over $2,000 a month the entire time that you're finishing up your bachelor's degree. Some people don't like it, and they're officers in the military, but otherwise it looks fantastic on paper. You just get paid to be a regular college student, paid out the wazoo for being a regular college student the entire time. But, yeah, that's one of the things. Or you could join Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. And that's the option that was presented to me, and that's the option that I took. Not Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. That's the high school thing. I did Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. So they paid for my school, the United States Army paid for my school, and they paid me an additional stipend of, by the time I got in, it was $450 a month for juniors, or for seniors, once I became a senior, it was $500 a month. So I got paid that stipend on top of them paying for it. I got all the way through that program in 2017, and they denied me a commission. They didn't have a job available for me for my specific, situation. But while I was there, this game came out, and the next game came out, and we had a lot of time, a lot of Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps, especially in the United States Army. A lot of that all centers around a singular thing, which is the stories of other officers who did very well and are held in high regard, but who cared so much about their soldiers that the loss of a few people tore them to shreds. So what I'm trying to do is essentially that. Like the Unforgiving Minute, A Soldier's Education, is on the Army's recommended reading list, U.S. Army's recommended reading list. It's by Craig Mullaney. He had the most decorated platoon in the entire war theater during his time in service. And so he talks about how in his first little tidbits as an actual infantry officer after the United States Military Academy at West Point, and after his master's degree from Oxford University, after his educational delay and from his Rhodes Scholarship and everything, then he went and he started training. He finally started his first day on the job, and then he went and trained at Fort Bragg. I can't remember. It's one of the northern forts, and then he went out into Afghanistan. It was probably about 2002 whenever he was finally out there on his first day on the job, and sometime during one of his first couple of skirmishes, he lost a single private, and that was it. But it haunted him for like the rest of his life, pretty much, just losing that one guy. And that's a powerful story. There was another one that was like Beyond Duty or something like that we read that was about a tank commander who, even though he sent out a zillion different warnings that they're going to run their tanks through a town, somebody decided to just hunker down and be in the house. And so whenever they threw their tanks through the town, they rolled over the house and there was a family inside, and that just tore the guy apart. Like full descent into alcoholism after their time in service, everything, like PTSD, all the different mental illnesses, all of the above. And so there was like story after story after story, like whole books that we had to read in this regard as part of the United States Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. That was all part of our curriculum. And because of that, there's this obsession with it was really like the lesson behind everything was very simple. You have to care so much about your men that it would drive you to the brink of insanity and beyond if one of them bit the dust. If you gave the order that took somebody's life, it tears you to shreds. But in the meantime, all the seniors, whenever I got into the particular program that I was in, and indeed like all of my fellow juniors, with very few exceptions, they were of the mind that if you care too much about your soldiers, the people that you were in charge of, and one of them bites the dust, it will drive you to the point of insanity, and that would be bad. They got the complete opposite message from it. And they're trying to tell you, like, if you care a lot about your soldiers, then you're going to be a good officer. And yes, there's side effects of that, but who gives a shit what happens to you, right? Like, if you're a supply officer or whatever, and somebody says, hey, we can't give you parachutes unless you literally kiss my ass, then you better get down and kiss that guy's ass, or else all your guys are going to die. I know that's an extreme example, but I can guarantee you that at some point in time, something like that happened. It's like, oh yeah, well, if you give me back all my poker earnings, then I'll give you guys your tanks or whatever. It's like, it absolutely had to have happened at some point in time in the military's past. I'm not saying that it's common, but people, absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's got to be some people out there that abuse their powers. But that's what you have to do to save the lives of like 30 to 50 people that you're in charge of as a fresh college graduate, as an 01 platoon leader who just earned your bachelor's degree. You're now in charge of like 50 people to get all of them what they need in order to survive. You have to throw yourself under however many buses that you need to do, or else you're going to be a terrible officer. And it's exactly the same thing as like being a good parent, right? If you care a lot about your kids, then you'll do whatever it takes to get them what they need to survive and continue to exist. But what if you read a bunch of parenting books, and the message that you got out of it is, well, if you care too much about your kids and something happens to them, then that's going to drive you insane. Therefore, you shouldn't care about your kids. That's exactly what happened with my senior ROTC troop. Doesn't it sound absolutely ridiculous whenever I put it in that light? And that's what, that's the message that all of the seniors and most of the juniors got out of all of our training. They got the exact opposite moral of the story. So you're not supposed to care about what happens to you. You're supposed to absolutely tear yourself to shreds for your men. Same as being a parent. You're supposed to do whatever it takes for your children. And yes, if something bad happens to them, then yeah, it will drive you crazy. But that's that. Wounds heal. They do. Wounds heal. You go to the proper, mental health care to get over PTSD. Eventually, you will heal that wound in one way or another. You will find a way to deal with it and operate normally in time. But until then, you gotta deal with that. The only way to be a good officer is to care about your men, right? So this whole thing is all about me trying to be the officer that I never got, the officer that I've always wanted to be. A lot of people will make excuses in the enlisted corps. They'll be like, well, I don't want to become an officer because they're all, lazy or whatever, and I work for a living and all this kind of stuff. And it's like as if the moment they get a bachelor's degree and get that promotion, then someone's going to glue their ass to their seat. It doesn't work like that. But people are insistent about this, and you'll point out this flaw in their logic, and they'll just stop talking to you because they want their excuse to be mediocre. It's whatever that quote was, like, we don't fear the fact that we are powerless. We fear the fact that we can do anything and we can accomplish anything, and that's what we truly fear about ourselves. But whatever. So this is an attempt to do the impossible, an attempt to play through all of Metal Gear Solid 5 while losing the bare minimum number of men. It's an attempt to take control over the uncontrollable. And all of that is going to be this whole experiment, all because of that goal at the end of the day, because it wasn't Craig Mullaney's fault that he lost a private. It's just that's what happens, in war. And for an example of that, whenever I was in Fort Knox doing command leadership course with a U.S. Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps, whenever I was in Fort Knox, I was doing room clearing with a team, so with about 2 or 3 other people, and we were going house to house, and I went around a corner and I saw that there was a Chinese mortar underneath the kitchen table inside the house. And so I immediately stopped and started backing all of my men out, but the instructor was standing in front of the door. And I said, we've got to get out. I don't know if you're in play or not or whatever, but, I spotted the Chinese mortar. We got to get out of here. He says, it's too late. And I said, no, but I did everything right. And he said, yeah, you did. But not everything always goes right. Whenever it comes to a house-born improvised explosive device, sometimes people drop a house on your head and you're dead, and you did everything right, but you're still dead. If there's one thing that we cannot avoid, it's death. It is inevitable. You can do everything right and die anyways. So this is this whole thing. This whole playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 5 is an attempt to do the impossible. To try to have war. To try to do everything right. And see the smallest amount of people that can be sacrificed. The smallest amount of people. I want the smallest amount of my men to get sick in the Phantom Pain. I want the smallest amount of people to die in general in war from any, different means or capacity. It's like, I don't want anybody to die. And that's going to be really hard to do. And that includes deaths from sickness. So once we start the Phantom Pain, I'm going to be firing everybody that I hire over and over and over again. And you have the minimal amount of people on staff at all points in time. And I'm also not going to be sending anybody out on dispatch missions, all because they might die. So it's going to be trying my best to keep all of my employees out of any sort of trouble. And we're going to try to do that and try to complete as much of the game as I can while doing that. And see where we get. I don't know if anybody's actually done this. I know that they've done no kills and stuff like that, but this in particular, to try to minimize the amount of death, period. That might be something that's brand new to the world. So we'll see what comes out of it. It is late as 10:30 my time as I'm making this, so as I'm recording this. So I'm going to get off here. I'm going to make myself some food before bed. I'm going to do a couple of different chores, and then I'm going to go to bed. But I'm almost complete with my little styrofoam shredding machine to insulate the cabin I'm building, so I'm excited. You get excited about stupid stuff like this whenever you get older. Anyways, talk to you later.